Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and people. Welcome to episode 9 of MNW In A Nutshell, which is episode 5 of Warzone in a Nutshell, hosted by Dr. Caliban of twitch.tv/Dr. Caliban. Your host for MNW Warzone in a Nutshell, MNW's resident statistician and bookkeeper from Victoria, Australia, Carla Bader. On this episode of Warzone, 18th of September 2021 Pacific Daylight Time, we start off with an audio promo from Maximilian Thunderthighs, who is supposedly responding to the in-ring promo of Papusa Monkey Private Investigator last week. You know, he notices what Max is doing and it was a bit strange. And Papusa says although he would like to wrestle, he cannot let this, suspicious behaviour of Max go unassessed. So Max has this response on the Saturday. Max says that he will play Papusa's game and that he might as well commit to it, in fact. He claims on a cold September morning, proceedings of a case were left with Secretary Max and then a Detective Max and regarding the wrestling superstar Max, who is the nicest guy in the world, now bad guy. Throwing a match for money and then defiling a famous author's book, that's what the wrestling Max apparently did. And then Papusa comes into the office and says, "You're coming down to the station with me." And it all made sense in the end, that the secretary, the detective, and the wrestler were all one in the same, a good guy doing bad things. And then this is followed by our first in-ring promo with our general manager of Saturday afternoon Warzone, Mr. Jerry Aldini. And in this promo, he says, "The card is so packed that we have no time for a showcase match." So some of the card for this show contains 4 tag team tournament matches, another big oof fatal 4-way match, as well as the final round of the Nexus Titan Championship tournament. So the winner will be facing Sir Uncle Dunk. And then Jerry goes on to say that about Theron Eldrazi and CJR Killer of the Outlaws is lost from last week. Remember, they lost against Vin Smoke Sanji and the janitor of Smoke and Mirrors, let's say. And yeah, Jerry doesn't just give idle threats. He says that the Outlaws have consequences if they do not win their next match. They will not be allowed to compete for any titles until next year's Multivania, which takes place typically the beginning of July. So they will not be allowed to go for belts for just under a year. And Jerry says that the match for the Outlaws to prove themselves here will be at Apocalypse. They will not know the opponents and they will not know the stipulations until the match. Mr. Lawson, I am sorry. I think you should take some lessons from Jerry Aldini, even though he's the newbie. He's doing quite well. Next up, on Saturday afternoon Warzone, September 18, we have an audio promo from our resident accountant, Forrest the Fortress Wade of the Absolute Units. In this promo, Mr. Wade says everything seems good with the bills, supplies, staff, and children's care. The only problem is seemingly Max. Mr. Wade understood Max's message, but then he had to explain it to his own mum. Mr. Wade's mum, that is. You know, the mum's like, "That child's got demons running around in his head. You should help him, son." Oh, sorry about my accent. I don't know what your mum sounds like, but I'm Australian, not American. Keep going. So, but Mr. Wade's mum only seemed to care about Max's behaviour rather than consoling her own son on his loss. I'm just looking at my notes here. He says that good people can do bad things and bad people can do good things. No one's perfect except maybe McCheese and Sparrow. And unless Max is pulling a Chaz Lee, Forrest T. Wade has got his back, and perhaps Max needs an in-ring slap to prove that. Now please sign the expense reports so Rapture and Lasume can get reimbursed. And while we're on the subject of businesses and reimbursement, I would just like to say that this episode of Warzone in a Nutshell is sponsored by Enraptured Beauty. He hasn't really given me a promo code yet, so I don't know. Type in New Road for 20% off. And it is also sponsored by Lasume 01 Craftworks for all your crafting needs. Now to continue with the show. We have our first match of the afternoon, which is a tag team match. We have Whitney Lee and Alpha Kong of Omega Club, accompanied by their Sentai team member Mega Blitz X, going against Louis McDonald and Trice of Legion, accompanied by their faction mate Kane, with 8,602 moves. In this match, Whitney Lee wins the match for Omega Club, so another strong standing from Whitney Lee, who is already a two-time showcase winner, along with Kelly and Ezra. So Whitney Lee's pin against Legion's Trice sends Omega Club to round 3. I apologise, I forgot to draw up the tournament brackets this week, so you are going to have to wait for Warzone on the 25th of September to find out who Omega Club will be facing next. But in order for our next event, we have another audio promo from the Scorpion Jack Abbott of Shoot Nation. He realises that they are going up against Eastern Bloc Party in the tag team tournament. Jack Abbott says this is going to be interesting, and he's never fought Nice Ice and Lucken before, but he's seen that they are a challenge, and he says that he is going to have to study them in order to make a plan, and that Devon and himself have their work cut out. Though part of Jack Abbott wishes he could fight Sam again, that is Suplex Sam of VIP. As we know, Devon has had drama with Sam, and it would take me forever to recap the history when Sam was back on Shoot Nation, but yeah. Back to Jack Abbott's actual promo. He says that Devon and himself may not be able to win by technical skill, but by the end of the match, Eastern Bloc Party will know that they've been in a fight. Then after the match, losers by the first round of a pint of alcohol to have together. And also, before Jack Abbott forgets, he wants to thank Juan Chance for the kind words the other week, and Jack Abbott says he is more than happy to train with Juan in the gym when he needs it. Next up, we have our second match of the afternoon, another tag team tournament match, and here it is, Nice Ice and Lucken of the Eastern Bloc Party against Jack Abbott and Devon of Shoot Nation. And although Jack Abbott has just recently returned from quite a long hiatus, he seems to have proved himself and shaken the ring rust off with a pinfall win against Nice Ice, therefore sending Shoot Nation to round 3 of the tag team tournament. And remember that the winner of this tag team tournament will be facing Toxic Wastelanders, Gorewheel and the Revenant for the tag team title. We then have another audio promo from our social outcast Lucha, Ignacio Cervantes. He says that Mega Blitz went full henshin a go-go to take him out in the Big Oof match. That is, Mega Blitz, Ignacio and 2 other members were in a fatal 4-way last week, which Sparrow won. Unfortunately, I have forgotten the 4th member, but that is only because I do not have my records in front of me. Forgive me. But yeah, Ignacio is saying that Mega Blitz says it was for dissing his friends. He doesn't know what Mega Blitz is talking about. Ignacio is happy with how far he has gotten, but then he says no more Mr. Nice Guy. He'll need to give him the bird next time. Speaking of which, he needs to keep an eye on Sparrow, And then he mentions something about hassling the hoss. Sometimes, as sharp and cluey as I am, I don't even know what Ignacio Cervantes is talking about. What a load of waffle. I guess, one day if we were ever able to decrypt his ways. But for now, we shall just move on to the next event of Saturday afternoon Warzone, which is our third match. It is the second fatal four-way match for the Big Oof #1 contendership. We have our Icy Lucha, Glycerius. Oh, that's right, I've got to do it in order of ranks. So it is TJ, the Mint Gable from the Absolute Units, their third member, who is now starting to make an individual showing. He came 4th place. And then we have our Icy Lucha, Glycerius, or is it Glycerus? I mean, it's spelt one way, pronounced another. That's interesting. Yeah, so Glycerius came in 3rd place. And then we have our Tiefling of Enraptured Beauty and member of D&D, Rapture New Road, coming in at 2nd. And then we have the judge of the multiverse. Have mercy on us, Raphael Sampson. He gets a well-deserved win in 1st place with a pinfall. So now that our 2 fatal four-way matches are done, we will be having Sparrow against Raphael Sampson, and whoever wins that singles match will be going against Bart Ender for the Big Oof belt, which I think will be at Apocalypse. I think all these title defenses are going to be at Apocalypse. Don't quote me on that one. But just as a reminder, the Apocalypse pay-per-view is due to take place on Saturday, the 9th of October, 2021, Pacific Daylight Time, exact time to be confirmed. So, next event, we have an audio promo from The Revenant, who is Da Main Man, Papa Plutonium of Toxic Wastelanders. I don't even know where to start with this one. He went full JoJo shit with this one. It's Chip Cheddison reporting live from Florida, where Domain Man Papa Plutonium is being challenged by the Florida National Guard. And then as the guards approach him, the Revenant is talking in some kind of moon speak, and I don't want to do it because I'm going to make a fool of myself if I try and imitate what he was saying. He's constantly going off in moon speak. And eventually he's going, according to my notes, Zawaruda, and then he's punching, and all the guards, and this bizarre JoJo spree, so to speak. And then this goes to show that absolutely no one screws with Domain Man at his time, especially in Disney World. May Raphael Sampson have mercy on those poor National Guards. So next up, after that cool promo there, we have an in-ring promo, the second in-ring promo of the afternoon, from Kane, the man with 8,602 moves. Here, he managed to find some time to get back into his red gear. And in the ring, Kane is saying that after proving he has what it takes against XR Kun, he gets jumped in the back by Earl King Wes. It's like, what the hell, Earl King Wes? How did you get your head into this business when you weren't even involved to begin with? And Kane has nothing to do with him, he admits. Nobody ever knows what Earl King's problem is. And unlike XR, Earl King has never had a legit title run. If Earl King is going to jump Kane, then could we please have Kane versus Earl King Wes at Apocalypse? And Kane's going to beat his ass. And then if I recall correctly, at the end as Kane was walking out, our general manager, Jerry Aldini, seems to confirm acceptance for this match. So I think we are indeed going to have Kane versus Earl King Wes at Apocalypse on October the 9th. And then we have our 6th audio promo from Chained Hell's Flame Revenant. And Flame Revenant sees that Chained Hell have a match against the Murder Cave. And the Flame Revenant has heard horror stories about the Murder Cave. However, the fact that he is excited is only an understatement. He's heard a lot of things about our gatekeeper, Allfather Arkov, about the bodies he has broken and the spirits he has stolen. The Flame Revenant has nothing but respect for another monster. The Flame Revenant is going to love breaking him and making a shell of his former self. It will be fun breaking another legend. And then when done, the only thing will be the satisfaction of beating him. Get ready to bask in the glory that is Chained Hell. And that is a smooth transition onto our tag team match related to that. Match number 4, another tournament match. Here we have Flame Revenant and Hightower of Chained Hell, accompanied by their constant nightmare faction mate Constantinople, going against the Murder Cave's Chasley and Arkov, accompanied by their scientist Dr. Grimm. In this case, Hightower takes the win with a pin against Chasley. Therefore, Chained Hell will be going on to round 3 of the tag team tournament. And I seem to recall from the previous matches, you know how I said I couldn't tell you the tournament brackets? I do think that from the last division, Omega Club won and Shoot Nation won, so they will be going against each other the following week. And Chained Hell will be going against whoever wins in match number 6 or 7 of this show. My notes aren't quite there yet, but more of that later. So then we have audio promo number 7. Wilson, son of Will mostly, but also the Doctor of Albinomics, due to VIPs, I guess, not so great week 2 weeks ago. They had, they lost their trios match. Beef and Sam lost their tag match. Aussie lost the singles match. It was pretty much a mess of a week, and I guess Wilson, son of Will, and the rest of VIP are starting to feel it. So in this case, according to my notes, Wilson and Alba are drinking away. Sorry, the Doctor of Albinomics, I'm supposed to say the full name. They're both drinking away their sorrows in a nightclub when Ryan Balavers of the Wilson Observer newsletter says, "Is there any unfinished business?" To do with Juan Chance, I guess. And Wilson says, yes, that with Juan Chance, Wilson is in this slump because of Juan. Juan is an 18-carat run of bad luck. He will go to Warzone and he's going to rip Juan's stupid mask off his stupid head. That mask will be Wilson's. And then at the end of this, Wilson is vomiting in a trash can as the Doctor of Albinomics is trying to hold his head back. I don't know why the boys got so intoxicated. I hope they can get over this hangover. I guess we'll see what happens on the 25th of September there. And then this is followed by an in-ring promo from the leader of VIP, the VI Pharaoh, the collector of, I'm not sure what, Ozir Turan. And in the ring promo, Ozir Turan says silence to the crowd, who are constantly, I guess, jeering things at him, muttering, booing things at him. He says silence and listen to what the VI Pharaoh has to say. Everybody saying VIP lost all their matches last week. They're not who they once were, but VIP know their worth. And the setback last week isn't going to diminish the glory of VIP. Even though it was a bad week, Ozir Turan is still the best technical wrestler, no hands down. Oh, sorry, yes, hands down. And then he has a request to the brass. Ozir Turan would like a match at Apocalypse against anybody. And then after that, sights will be set on the only thing that is worth focusing on, the belt currently held by Memes Zako Duo, the World Heavyweight Championship. So yes, there will be a match at Apocalypse, Ozir Turan against an opponent to be determined. And then we have our 8th audio promo by Cave Woman Uzra. In this promo, a visitor is waiting at the tavern to see Uzra, and the locals are staring at the visitor weirdly as they eye their satchel that they keep their coins in. Uzra turns up without warning the visitor, surprising them. Uzra says that she has been through quite a lot in such a short time, The visitor says they have heard all about it, and they say they won't be coming after you again as you cost them a lot of money and resources every time you pull a stunt like this. I wonder what that means. Then Ursula answers the question about joining another team. Will she join another team? She's not really saying yes or no to that. She is here for the thrill. The more brutal the fight, the bigger the thrill. And then we have our 9th audio promo from 1/3 of Meme, 1/2 of the Robros, and Undisputed Future, R. Sawyer 3.6, or as people just like to say, R. Sawyer. In this promo, he was not expecting the Vin and Janitors win. Vin Smoke and the Janitors win. Sorry, tongue-tied today. I've got more grey hairs. I turned older just a day ago, so yeah, excuse me. Continuing with the promo, R. Sawyer says, let's recap the week it was. Eastern Bloc Party will have to take on Shoot Nation, then Legion to beat Omega Club, which means Eastern Bloc Party versus Meme for the finals. Chained Hell versus the Murder Cave. R. Sawyer thought the Absolute Units would win, but no, Arkov had to change things up a little bit. And then with the Vin Smoke and the Janitor versus Meme, I know you have that smoking gun cocked, trust me. And then he mentions something about Mr. Rippums. I've forgotten there as I haven't seen Mr. Rippums in ages. And then R. Sawyer goes on to say, are you sure you're not going to misfire? If you have any doubts, Malice will be riding off into the sunset while playing Rawhide. And as Jerry seemed to point out, R. Sawyer's predictions are a little bit like every time he makes a prediction, it doesn't happen. Better luck next time with the results, R. Sawyer. And then we have our 5th tag team match, another tournament match. Our team of Vin Smoke Sanji and the Janitor of Smoke and Mirrors versus R. Sawyer and Malice of Meme, accompanied by who I forgot to put, Zarko Duo, the World Heavyweight Championship. And in this match, Malice wins against the Janitor with a supposed blue screen. So therefore, Meme goes on to round 3, and I think they will be facing Chained Hell. Don't quote me on that, perhaps I've got the order mixed up, but maybe I haven't. Next up, we have an audio promo. Although I put Lady Boots and Da Funk, they are 2 separate promos. It's just that one responded to the other, hence why I have grouped them together. First of all, it was Lady Boots. She's saying ladies and not men because I am a PG institute, so I will talk about the promo as if it was PG. Sorry there, it was a really good promo, but I'm just making this widely favourable to the public, let's say. So, ladies and not men, a quick history lesson regarding Conquest Bloodline and VIP. And that in the 4 versus 4 match against these teams, who was the one that got the last pin? It was Lady Boots herself. She can read them like a book any day of the week. Firstly, their whiny, broken record of a doctor. And then you've got the dollar store hip-hop man. Go back to your vault of money and cry. And then you have your fake feminist Wilson. Go take that selfie stick of yours and go whine to your, she says, bot-fueled Twitter account. And then with VIP in the rearview mirror, she would like to make a statement to Da Funk, who they are going to be facing off against each other in the next match. She says that Da Funk is a loser as well as Sir Uncle Dunk. Yes, you dweebs have earned your chances, and that it took Lady Boots herself 5 years to even earn a title shot. So therefore you can tell she has been a veteran of MNW. And she says for the tag, the Nexus Titan Championship belt will come back to Conquest Bloodline. You will all beg through temptation and corruption. And then we have a response from our funky clone trooper, our dancing clone trooper, Da Funk. And he goes, "Did you see that? He made the greatest wrestler, Ozzy Turan, tap." And that was, the last match, the last singles match. So Ozzy Turan tapped in that. But now Da Funk has to beat Lady Boots, one of the great legends of MNW. This may be even tougher than before. Both Da Funk and Lady Boots deserve a shot, so neither of them will be holding back. And Da Funk needs all of your help, the help of the audience, the locker room people, everybody you can think of, to get his funk back on so he can win it this afternoon, folks. So then we have match number 6 of the afternoon, our Nexus Titan singles match. Here we have Da Funk versus Lady Boots. And in this match, our lady shows once again she has what it takes to earn a title. Finally, she wins the match with a pinfall against Da Funk. But I would say in this case, even though Da Funk didn't win the match, he's got opportunities for many other titles. He says he will be focusing on the gold. So I'd like to see more of where Da Funk goes in the subsequent weeks. But as for our winner, Lady Boots, she will be facing Sir Uncle Dunk for a chance at the Nexus Titan Championship at Apocalypse, the pay-per-view on October the 9th. And then we have an in-ring promo, which starts off with Vince Smoke Sanji. He was the old leader of Omega Club, and then he was one of the ones that has undergone the curse of the hats. If any of you remember the hat arc, and it seems like he is still cursed by the hat. If you can see there that his plastered face, the orange hair. I am not sure why Vince Smoke hasn't been able to have a full recovery, but here is what he said. "Do people think that Vince Smoke can't get it done anymore? Can he not do it in the ring? Do they think he's cursed?" And then he says he can and he will get the job done. He needs an opportunity and a chance to show himself. And what we're saying about Vince Smoke Sanji is all wrong. He is Vince Smoke, not Hat Smoke anymore. How about a chance in the Big Oof title scene? And then Burnout Vaughn seems to take interest to what Vince Smoke says and joins him in the ring per se, responding. Burnout Vaughn and Vince Smoke Sanji have a lot of history. He's saying that Vince Smoke did a lot for him. So here Burnout is seeing Vince Smoke as a friend. He says, they had a hard road and there were hard feelings. But Vince Smoke believed in Burnout when he first came, and that means a lot. Vince Smoke says he doesn't need Burnout's pity. But then Burnout says he is worried about Vince Smoke. He is still not free from the curse of the hat. Vince Smoke denies this, but then Burnout reiterates that Vince Smoke is not well. Burnout thinks a certain doctor can get the hat out of Vince Smoke's system, but Vince Smoke doesn't want a mad scientist who has a Frankenstein as a son. I think that's the one Burnout's mentioning. But then Burnout says Vince Smoke is not good. And then, because he can't get Vince Smoke to see straight, what does he do? Burnout, the boozy brawler himself with his own problems, confronts Vince Smoke violently. How's that a way to go, to get a person to solve their issues? Violence is always the answer, is it, mate? I'd like to see you try something different for once. But that's what happened. Those two had a brawl in the ring, and I think, once again, don't quote me, Vince Smoke and Burnout will be having a match at Apocalypse. Jerry Aldini is going to have to confirm that for me. But next up, we have another audio promo from the legend incarnate, Beowulf. Jerry wants Beowulf to prove himself. That's, what was mentioned in the in-ring promo by Jerry last week. And Beowulf hears this, and he says, "I accept this challenge. No matter who, he will beat them down all the same, and he will remind everyone why this is the myth personified. This person better have packed their bags, as Beowulf will punch their ticket on the midnight run to Niflheim, because I am the legend reborn. I am Beowulf. Sorry I can't scream at the top of my lungs. I'm already shouting enough as it is. I think if my parents hear me scream, well, I don't want to know what happens then, so yeah. But next up, we have our 7th match of the afternoon, another tag team match, but it is not a tournament match. It is just it's that match where Beowulf has to prove himself against Sergeant Major Payne. But then apparently there wasn't enough time for 2 singles matches. So what has happened instead is Jerry Aldini has put the 2 together, and they are going up against another team of the delinquent Nakano Kirishima as well as One Chance. But if you look closely at the picture on the very right, where the hell did Juan's mask go? There are rumours that it's been stolen, but when the match was aired directly, we did not know this back then. Social media tweets have surfaced that Wilson has finally gotten on the mask, but yeah, back to the match. Beowulf and Sergeant Major Payne did end up proving themselves. They got the win with Sergeant Major Payne pinning the delinquent Nakano Kirishima, and because Jerry was impressed that they were able to pull through, Beowulf and Sergeant Major Payne will be having their Hell in a Cell match at Apocalypse. This is followed up by an audio promo from our current Warpgate Hardcore champion, the Scottish man, McMorgan. McMorgan says that if he wasn't the Warpgate Hardcore champion, he would not be holding the belt, would he now? He says that no one is going to survive this bout. Are you so proud and so sure like the Conquest bloodline is? If you are, then face McMorgan. He's a hardcore champion and you're facing a hardcore end. And then he finishes off by saying, oh, you can try for me belt again in hell. Gee, that's a bit extreme, but that's what wrestling is, I guess. It's an extreme sport and you got to go to a lot to get somewhere. And that shows in this next match. The main event, the final match of the afternoon, is a singles match, more specifically a title defense match. Daggerick was one of the ones in that triple threat match with him, Hirold, and that's right, Papusa was the third member of that. So Daggerick is having another chance at the Warpgate Hardcore title. And if you can see in my records, the yellow T shows the current title holder. But they've got an L next to their name. So that means that after this match, the title changed hands. Daggerick was able to win the belt off McMorgan, and so Daggerick is your new Warpgate Hardcore champion. Now, if I heard correctly, what Jerry said was this would be the last title defense until Apocalypse. So with that title change, I guess Daggerick will now be the one to win the title off against Apocalypse. And then our other title holders, just to recap, we have our World Heavyweight Champion, Zarko Duo, our Big Oof Champion, Bart Ender, our Nexus Titan Champion, Sir Unkley Dunk, our Tag Team Champions, the Toxic Wastelanders, Revenant and Gorewheel. And then we also have Trios Champions, but they are over on Flashbang, and they are Michael Macabre, Mad Jack, and Xerxes of Doom. And then once again, your new Warpgate Hardcore champion, Daggerick. So if I recall correctly, for the tag team tournament, Omega Club will be facing Shoot Nation in round 3, and then Chained Hell will be facing Meme. I hope I haven't got that mixed up. So that's it for the show on Saturday, September the 18th at 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. We now go to our final summary as the bookkeeper and statistician. The show length was 2 hours, 39 minutes and 50 seconds. And then we go on to our segment summary, which was 8 matches, 16 promos overall with no backstage encounters, which gives us a total of 24 events for September the 18th. If we take away the audio promos, that is 12, and then that gives us a final of 12 produced events. There were a lot of promos for this week's show. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of a headache making the slides and thinking what to say for each promo. But, that's what happens when you have creative people mixed with dedicated show hosts. You get a packed show. So that is it for MNW Warzone in a nutshell, based on the show from Saturday the 18th of September 2021 Pacific Daylight Time. If you would like to catch the show live, then you can go to twitch.tv/Dr. Caliban every Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, unless things change. If you are in the MNW Discord, you should know about those changes when they tell you. But otherwise, assume the normal time. This has been Carla Bader for MNW in a nutshell. Wherever you are in the world, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and thank you.